His feats on the court, 7 straight scoring titles, 3 MVP awards, highest playoff scoring average in history, are incredible on their own terms, but they don't begin to explain just how great a player Jordan has been. From time to time, we've heard Michael's own thoughts on his exploits, but now we'd like to get the viewpoints of some of the all-time greats of the NBA. Peter Bessie went in search of the superlatives.
To achieve unparalleled greatness, one must transcend time. One's abilities and accomplishments must be measured against those who came before. To be great, one must improve upon existing excellence, and at the same time lead your team to ultimate success. To be the best ever, one must create a standard by which all others are judged.
You are simply the standard by which basketball excellence is measured.
I would probably call him the ultimate weapon on a basketball court. Offensively, defensively, inspirationally.
He just stands apart from every player I've ever seen.
You're simply the best. Better than all the rest. Better than anyone. Anyone I've ever met.
When you look at all other great players, it almost always seems that there's a flaw in his game. I don't think there's any flaw in this guy's game. He's the best defensive player in the league, in my opinion. He's the best competitor in the league, in my opinion. He's by far the best offensive player, in my opinion. He's the best clutch player in the game. He's got the whole package, and his skill level, on top of that enormous physical package, really sets him apart from the other players.
If there was one area of weakness people thought was a weakness with Michael Jordan was his outside shooting. And Michael even went one step beyond. He even improved his three-point shooting, and now he's pretty proficient shooting from the three-point line. It's just impossible to defend him.
The only thing I can see that's a weakness to Michael Jordan is the fact that if he shows up and he just don't want to play and then only score 30 instead of 50.
Simply the best. Better than all the rest. Better than anyone. Anyone I ever met.
He's literally the Mona Lisa of basketball. He has no imperfections.
Baryshnikov of basketball would be a simple term.
I would describe him as Connie Hawkins with wings.
Superman.
An aerodynamic superhero who can't be defined, diagrammed, described, or defended. An outlaw of gravity, a compulsive competitor, a man whose cup is never filled, who always craves more. A man who, quite simply, has conquered the sport.
I thought I was the most competitive person that I ever knew until I met Michael. We went at it in Barcelona, at each other. We thought we could beat each other at everything, and we tried to. Free throws, jump shot, three-point, cards, checkers, anything. We wanted to beat each other so bad.
And I've seen that on the golf course. I've played with him a number of times, and it doesn't matter what kind of a game he's competing in. He's got a game within a game, and the competitiveness is, in reality, probably what drives him to be what he is.
What if my face wasn't on TV every other second? What if there wasn't a crowd around every corner? What if I was just a basketball player? Can you imagine it? I can.
There's such an enormous burden on you when you're good. It never seems to bother him. But also, what happens when you're that good, other players who are all-star caliber have a lot of courage also. You can see their courage go away when they're playing against him. He emotionally and mentally destroys players at times, and you can see it happen.
4 years ago, I was going into places like Chicago and Los Angeles and saying, Larry Bird is the best player I've ever seen, and they were throwing things at me, as you might imagine. Sitting here today, I don't think there's any question that Larry Bird certainly deserves to be mentioned in the same breath, as does Magic Johnson, with Michael Jordan, but I think at this point in time, Michael is the best basketball player that I've ever seen perform.
What I want to tell fans is, set your VCRs now. because once he goes, that's the only thing you're going to have is the memories and all the plays, all the joy that he gave us, because it won't be another one, that's for sure.
Terrific piece. Let's turn to the guy who was certainly one of the best at his position of all time. Is Michael Jordan the best ever?
If I say no, can I still come back on the show next week, Bob?
You're on probation, I guess, but we'll let you come back.
There's no difference, in my opinion, between Bird, Magic, and Jordan, except for the significant difference that Bird and Magic had in their teammates. Basketball, though, is not a game of trash talking and statistics. It's all about the standings, the scoreboard, and championship rings. That's why I put Bill Russell at the very top, followed closely by Wilt and Jabbar. Of all the players I've ever watched, Magic Johnson was the most like Bill Russell because he was able and willing to do the things that nobody else could or would not do.
Of course, you're a center talking primarily about centers in this case.
I'm a basketball player, and so is everybody else.
I tell you what, Michael Jordan is the best combination of basketball player and athlete that I've ever seen. I think a lot of guys have good basketball skills, but very few put that athletic skill with the basketball skill. And for me, he's the best that I've ever seen.
Listen, if Jerry West, the league logo, says he's the best, who am I to argue?
That's
he's
right.
the best.
When you see the NBA logo, that figure in silhouette is Jerry West dribbling the ball.
That's right. Jerry says that Michael, God sprinkled a lot more dust on him than anyone else.
All right. When we come back...